Hello guys, in today's video I will talk to you about the past perfect and past perfect continuous, also known as past perfect progressive. Let's jump into today's class. Past perfect. So when you hear the word past perfect, we are talking about this. So let's see this timeline. Here we have the present in the middle. Here we have the future. And here we have the past. Okay, so present, future, past. So in the past, we have the past tense. That's closer to the present. And then we have the past perfect tense, which is further from the present. So here we have two sentences. Theo arrived at the station. The bus had left. So the bus had left when Theo arrived at the station. So let's see what the past perfect is. So first let's talk about the form, past perfect form. So in the form we have that the past perfect is formed by an auxiliary verb, by this verb actually, auxiliary verb have plus the past participle of the main verb. So what does that mean? Okay, so here we have the infinitive of many different verbs. We have the verb to be, we have the verb to have, we have the verb to do, to say, to get, to make, to go, to take, to see, to come. Well, the past perfect then would be formed in this way. Had been, had done, had said, had gotten, had made, had gone, had taken, had seen, had come. So what do we have here? Well, the past perfect is formed uh, by the past, the simple past of the verb to have plus the past participle of the main verb, as you can see here. Some of these verbs, most of these verbs here are irregular. That doesn't mean that the past perfect must be irregular. Okay. So here we have the negative version of the past participle. With you just need to add the word not in the middle. So had not been, had not had not done, had not said, had not gotten, had not made, had not gone, had not taken, had not seen, had not come. So, like, then you can add the pronouns here. I had not been, you had not been, they had not been, he had not been, we had not been, etc. All right, so that's the form, how we form it. Here, the uses of the past participle. These might be the most important part. The uses. How do we use the past perfect? Well, let's talk about this. Number one, or first point, for an action that had happened, for an action that happened in the past before another past action or before a stated time in the past. For example, he had cleaned the house before he left. He had cleaned the house before he left. So one action that happened in the past, of course, before another action that happened also in the past. For example, the first action was had cleaned the house. The second action was left. So he had cleaned the house before he left. Very good. Number two, or second point, the past perfect is the past equivalent of the present perfect. Okay, so let's see that in an example. Um, he had caught the flu, so he took antibiotics. He had caught the flu, so he took antibiotics. He has caught the flu, so he took antibiotics. He has caught the flu, so he took antibiotics. So here, the past perfect, this action happened in the past before another action, which was taking antibiotics. And here, the action is still happening, still going on. Okay, so very good. Third point here is we can use the past perfect or the simple past with before or after without any difference in meaning. All right, that means we can use it indistinctively. That means that you can use one or the other. So he went out after he had finished his homework. He went out after he finished his homework. So here you can say either after he had finished his homework or after he finished his homework. Um, you can say even he went out before he finished his homework. He went out uh, before he had finished his homework. So when you can use the past perfect or the simple past with the word before or after without any difference in meaning. Okay? Let's talk a little bit about the past perfect progressive. We already talked about the past perfect. Now we're going to see this. What does this part here mean? Progressive. What does this mean here? All right? So here, let's see the past perfect progressive in a timeline. This is a timeline. So again, here we have the present, here we have the future, and here we have the past. The present is what's happening now. The future hasn't happened yet. It will happen. And the past already happened. So the past perfect continuous is here in this line, in this part, as you can see here, is an action that happened in the past but still continues to a period of time in the past. Okay, this is the present, so it's still in the past. Let's see, and it's formed by the word had, which is the past verb of the word have, of the verb have, the past participle of the verb to be, so being, and the present participle or the ing form of the verb. All right, let's see. So here we have past perfect versus past perfect continuous. Past perfect versus past perfect continuous. So let's see. So the past perfect had plus past participle. We already know this. Had plus past participle. Express a past action already finished when another past action happened. For example, I met them after they had divorced each other. I met them after they had divorced each other. So one action met, another action had divorced. So the first action met the past perfect. This action happened first than this action. Okay, so the past perfect is an action in the past that happened first, then another action in the past. And the past continuous then is this. The form is had plus been plus the ing form of the main verb. Okay? So remember, being is the past participle of the verb to be. And had is the past of the verb the auxiliary verb, the helping verb, have. Okay, so describe an action. So the past continuous, past perfect continuous. Describe an action. Um, uh, describe a past action which started in the past and continued to happen after another action or time in the past. For example, Sarah had been working here for 2 weeks when she had the accident. So Sarah had been working here for 2 weeks when she had the accident. So this action here, this action is the past perfect continuous or past perfect progressive. It's the same. So this action here, um, it's a past action which started in the past and continued to happen after another action or time in the past. Okay? I hope that made sense. All right, so let's see the form, the past perfect progressive form. Here we have the affirmative, the interrogative form, and the negative form. So I'm not going to read everything. I'm just going to read 2 items from each form. And then you can study it further at home. So here we have, I had been looking. The interrogative, and I'm sorry, I'm going to read another one. You had been looking. Then the question would be, had I been looking? Had you been looking? And the negative, I hadn't been looking. You hadn't been looking. Very good. So that would be the form of the past perfect progressive. All right, let's see. We're almost at the end of this video, so let's finish. So the past perfect progressive, it's used in this way. So the uses of the past perfect progressive are this. First, to put emphasis on the duration of an action which started and finished in the past before another past action or a stated time in the past, usually with since or for. For example, he had been studying for 5 years before he got his degree. Okay, so here this is the past, again, this is the past progressive. He had been studying for 5 years. He had been studying for 5 years before he got his degree. So here we use the past perfect progressive to put emphasis on an action which started and finished in the past before another past action, which was this action here. He got his degree. Okay, so whenever you want to make emphasis of a past action, you use the past perfect progressive. Secondly, we have here the past perfect progressive is the equivalent of the present perfect progressive. And here we have two sentences to show that. She had been waiting for the bus for an hour before it arrived. She had been waiting for the bus for an hour before it arrived. So this is the past perfect progressive. And the present perfect progressive is this. She has been waiting for the bus for an hour. She's still waiting. All right? I mean, this here, it's like what explains the sentence. So let's go ahead. Let's go back to the first one. She had been waiting for the bus for an hour before it arrived. So the bus already arrived, and she's no longer waiting. She's not waiting anymore, but she had been waiting for an hour. So here it's putting emphasis on the time that she was waiting. Here, she has been waiting for the bus for an hour. she's still waiting. And so here we are putting emphasis on the duration of time that she is waiting. All right. So that's all for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let's jump ahead and read our quote of the day, and then we are done. So the quote of the day for today is, "The past is to prove that no one is perfect, and the future is to prove that everybody can change." Again, the past is to prove that no one is perfect, and the future is to prove that everyone can change. So just be aware of the changes ahead in your life. That's all for today. Goodbye, and I'll see you the next time.